We're meeting in the central jury room at the Hood County Justice Center at 1200 West Pearl Street. And Commissioner Roan, would you give an invocation, please? Please rise.
Heavenly Father, we come to you on this week following Thanksgiving, a time that we stop and give thanks for all we have in this country. We ask now that you continue to guide and direct us as we do your work and all the work attached to you in the county. We ask these things in Christ's name.
Join me as we honor the flag of our country. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Join me in the pledge of Texas. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank y'all. Is there any special presentations this morning, Bob? None? Okay, thank you very much. Does any citizen wish to make any comments about any agenda item? If they do, the sheriff has a form that they can fill out so that they can speak. Okay, anyone else? Okay, then is there any commissioner wish to pull anything off the consent agenda? If not, I'll accept a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Simpson, seconded by Commissioner Roan to approve the consent agenda. Any further discussion? Then all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Subdivision roads and plats. Number one, road operations, there's none for development either. You do not have anything done? Okay. How are you feeling, by the way? Better? Okay, good. All right, budget and finance.
Good morning, Judge and Commissioners. The only budget amendment that has been requested is for the sheriff. He's wanting to spend money from his discretionary funds out of the abandoned vehicle fund. He wants to move $2,250 over from Fund 61 for the dive team. And I just wanted to advise you that and ask you to let me post that to the general ledger.
So moved. All right, I have a motion made by Commissioner Heatherington. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Simpson to approve the budget line item amendment. Any further discussion? Then all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carried. Next item is considered payment of bills.
Judge and Commissioners, the total of these bills for your consideration, I sent you a list last week, come to $220,008.28. Attorney fees continue to be very high, and those came to $26,451.86. For road ops materials, there's $14,529.12 to Ergon Asphalt and Emulsions. To Reliable Chevrolet, $51,206.92. That's for the purchase of 2 constable vehicles. And to Vulcan Construction Material, $14,823.32 for road ops materials. I have provided payment warrants for each item on this list. I'd request your permission to pay these bills.
Move to ratify paying the bills.
Second.
I have a motion made by Commissioner Heatherington, seconded by Commissioner Berry to ratify paying the bills. Any further discussion? Then all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Miscellaneous. Consider and take appropriate action to approve amended contract between Tyler Technologies and Hood County. Tony, you want to come forward with Kirk? Pardon? Oh, it's Steve. I can't. I'm sorry. I called you Kirk. I'm sorry.
The amendment, there's no change in dollar amounts. It's just a clarification. So in 4.5 years, it's a 5-year agreement. And in 4.5 years, the way the current contract reads as far as the start dates, there may be some confusion on is it a 4.5-year agreement? Is it a 5-year agreement? And it's always been a 5-year agreement. And what had happened was the contracts that provided to TONA were our standard template contracts. And from the time that they were in front of the Commissioners Court, our attorney changed some language. So the only thing that changes is we clarify that the 5-year clock begins when training starts. That's the only thing.
Okay. Well, I'll accept a motion to approve the contract change.
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Rowan. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Berry, to allow the county judge, I presume, to sign this amended contract. And if you have that, I'll sign it. I think I have one, but we'll just take that one and get it done right now. Okay, so is there any further discussion on this item? And all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you very much. All right, the next item on the agenda is item number 2 is take appropriate action to approve the architect, but that's been removed from the agenda per Nelda. And Nelda, do you want to say anything about that, or just?
Other than we're just not ready to do this right now.
Okay. All right, then that's been removed. Consider and take appropriate action on purchasing a UPS for the Justice Center security surveillance. Jackie?
Judge, this is a item that has come up of late. We've been working on the video surveillance equipment here in the security office in the Justice Center, and we do not have a battery backup that is on that system. The one that we did move over there just to have something is very, very small and really just will not support the system. And I would like to have battery backup on that system so that it could stay up in the event of a power outage, at least for about 20 minutes, and if nothing else, shut those systems down properly. We reviewed that. We reviewed the need and the sizing, and the cost for the unit is $1,143.70 from Southern Computer Warehouse, and we did look at that competitively to make sure that we had the best pricing on that.
Motion approved.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Berry, seconded by Commissioner Simpson. Is there any further discussion on this item?
Nelda's happy with
Yeah.
Southern, it would be a 55 item.
Okay, any further discussion? Then all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carried. Discuss and take appropriate action to purchase video equipment for the court rooms in the Justice Center. This is an addendum made by Rob.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning. Thank you for that, by the way.
All right. This is a project, there's really two parts of it. The first part deals with a projector in the courtroom. That went out several months ago, and we've had a projector in there on loan from, I guess, AVI. And it's not hooked into the video system that we have. In other words, a lot of the equipment that we have in there, specifically the Elmo system, is not plugged into that projector. We just have the projector plugged into whoever computer is working there. I talked with Jackie about having that replaced. I think Jackie can speak to his plans about how to address that. I guess the county is always using projectors in various departments, and the IT department has suggested that we equip the district courtroom projector the same way that we equip the projector in this room, and how we equip the county court at law courtroom, so that if one of them goes down, his department can quickly come in and just swap one projector for another one. There won't be any downtime. I think that he can speak with greater detail and more articulately about why that needs to happen. About the same time that we started talking about replacing that projector, I discussed with Jackie putting video monitors in the jury box. for the jury to look at exhibits, videos, that sort of thing during the trial. You know, if you've been to the movies and when the movie starts, they turn the lights down to pitch black so you can see, you know, the movie screen. And of course, at the movie theater, they have probably the best projector that money can buy. I think, and we had AVI come down and talk to us, you're never going to be able to get the kind of color type of resolution contrast in a room as big as that district court room without the lights being completely down, which is going to make it impossible to do the other work that we do in there. And the projector, just that technology, is just not ever going to be as detailed as an image that is shown on a computer monitor. And so I think that it would benefit the jury, benefit the state, benefit the defense for that matter, in presenting these cases to juries. We try a lot of cases. It's not like the equipment wouldn't be used. I don't know exactly what the numbers are this year, but I'm sure we're on track to try between 40 and 50 jury trials, criminal and civil, most of those criminal. So this is equipment that would be used several times a month, every month. Jackie, I first suggested that Jackie just, because I have so much confidence in him, he just go and buy a projector and get a ladder and put it up there. But he's explained to me that it's more complicated than that, that whatever...
Of course it is.
And that whatever we do has to be plugged into and programmed with the equipment we already have in the district courtroom. Technology is always changing, and Jackie also explained to me, and again, he can explain the whys. I'll just tell you what I understand, that there's also a need and an opportunity to upgrade the technology relating to high definition versus standard definition in the video equipment that we already have. That when we're going to go in and replace this stuff, we need to take the opportunity to use the latest technology for two reasons. One, it's better, and second, in a way, it's impractical and more expensive to stay married to this older technology and take it forward. So, I understand that we got 2 bids from AVI, a company that Jackie is comfortable with and has worked with in the past. One bid is to replace not only the projector that's down, but also the projector in this room and the projector in the county court at law courtroom. Of course, I asked him, anticipating what your questions would be, what are we going to do with the projectors that are in here? And Jackie tells me that there are always going to be needs for these projectors, and that the projectors that are in here can be moved to another location where they're needed. It's not that they'll be just put on a shelf someplace or thrown in the trash. And again, Jackie can explain exactly why it's important to him to have these the same, but the bid for replacing the 3 projectors is, I believe, $14,000. But Jackie can get the exact numbers, but that's the number that we're talking about for 3 of these and installed. The next part of the project is the computer monitors in the jury box itself. And my understanding that bid came in right at $20,000 to put that in, to run the line and plug that into and upgrade the video equipment that we already have in the district courtroom. I think that the first number is something that we just really have to do. I mean, at this point, we have a projector that's not even ours, that's sitting on a table in the middle of the bar there with cables running that people are tripping over and that sort of thing. I think that has to be done to get us back to the place where we were before we lost that projector. The second part, the $20,000 part, is clearly an upgrade. And, I've thought about how to justify that to this body. If we try 40 jury trials, a year, that's $500 a trial. I can assure you that it would be equipment that would be used and would be put to good use, and not a situation where we could have it and use it if this contingency came up. It'd be something that would be used the week it was installed. So the only other thing that I'll tell you is that the only other thing that isn't ironed out at this point, I guess two things. Number one, Penny is here from the judge's office. Anything that is done in the district courtroom is going to ultimately be approved by Judge Walton. And there are a number of different ideas that we've kicked around. Penny and AVI and Jackie and I have discussed this with Judge Walton, and we've received his tentative approval. Of course, he wants to know exactly what it's going to look like and wants to make sure that it's not going to be a problem for the jury. But ultimately, before we spend any money, if the court were to approve this, we'd make sure that Judge Walton was on board and that he approved it as well. And then the second issue is there's going to have to be some cable run in the jury box, and there was some discussion that we would have maintenance do that, and if not, we might have to have that someone brought in to do that, but I think that's going to be a relatively minor expense to get that done. But that's one thing that's not included in these two bids here. So that's what we've got, and I'll answer any questions you guys have about it. Yes, sir, Commissioner.
Rob, so this has everything to do with the presentation of data or of evidence.
Right.
Does it also have to do with the preservation of that evidence?
No, no. Much of the evidence that we have is not the images, the videos that we have were not made under optimal conditions. For example, most of our DWI trials, the DWIs happen at night. And nighttime is not the best time to shoot a video. Okay, it's better to do that in the middle of the day. And when you're watching a video that is probably difficult to see anyway, when that's washed out, it's just harder to see. It's just harder to see. And it's frustrating when I'm looking, because the way it works is I present these exhibits using my computer and then present it on the projector. And it's really frustrating when I see it on my monitor screen, and then when it's over on the projector, you just can't see it. And so it's not so much the preservation of evidence, it's the presentation of it.
Does this have audio with it or not?
No, and our audio system's fine. In fact, there are speakers in the jury box right now. And then there are also speakers in the courtroom as well. This issue of how to present this digital evidence is something that prosecutors' offices deal with all the time. And I've recently been to a digital evidence school and heard the people talk about their courtrooms. Our courtroom is in really pretty good shape as far as the audio. I mean, I think that we have a good situation there. And I will tell you, if we do this, we will have, I think, one of the best courtrooms for presenting evidence around. I mean, it would be good. But again, we try a lot more cases than they do in a lot of courtrooms around as well. So,
how does this differ from the projectors that we have down at the old courthouse? The
projectors or TVs?
Or the TVs and all of the whole thing.
All right.
For a second. Well, Judge, the main thing is that the projectors that we have here are ones that project an image to the wall. At the courthouse, we're using plasma television screens or monitors for that. In the setting, those screens are beginning to get quite large, but the expense for those is still on the upper end for those larger screens. Rob and I have had a lot of discussions about this, trying to look at this and the options and what we can do, because the amount of digital evidence that is presented now, whether it's video, surveillance video, in-car video, photographs, there is so much digital evidence that it is probably one of the widest used components in the courtroom whenever they are presenting a case. So detail is very important, and whether you're trying to be a defendant and prove innocence or if you're prosecuting. And I think that that's really important. The monitors bring that level of detail there to make sure that people can see that clearly. Sometimes you can see something pretty clear on the big screen on the wall. Sometimes you cannot make out enough detail that's a monitor, like the ones in front of you, will actually give you greater detail and clarity to be able to see that. And that's the primary difference, is that this would basically put monitor screens like what you have in front of you in front of the jurors there, so that they could really have a better view of the evidence that's being presented.
Jackie?
Yes, sir.
Question. Typically, when you look at advertised pricing, monitors run about 1/4 what televisions do. Why is there a $6,000 delta between the $14,000 for 3 projectors and $20 grand for monitors in a jury box?
The primary thing that we have to do is that everything that is in these courtrooms is integrated. So, in other words, that the way that we control these systems to be able to turn the mics on and off, to be able to turn the monitors on and off and adjust and switch over here to where the defendant can present their part of the case and where the prosecution can present their parts, all of that is integrated into a system that ties back to each courtroom. So we have one that's back here in this court area. The district court has one that's similar. The biggest component cost of that is not the monitors. The monitors are really the cheaper part of it. The components that are in that room that feed those monitors, those are the components that we're really talking about updating in there.
Devices are the expense.
You know, it's 6 years plus old. Now the technology has changed a great deal, so it's really updating that part of the equipment so that it can support having these monitors in the jury box and feed that high definition content to it. And it is something that, looking forward, this is something moving forward. You know, today we don't go out to the store anymore and we don't buy a standard definition TV anymore. It just doesn't make sense. Everything we get is higher definition. The pictures that are taken now on the scenes are all high definition pictures, you know, so the detail's greater and they depend on it a lot more. So what we did is that we looked at the projectors that would work across the board. We have 3 courtrooms working in this building right now, the JP 1 and 2, the district court at law, or district court, and the county court at law. Those projectors right now are somewhat dissimilar. So when we have one that gives us a problem, sometimes it can cause a problem with having court maybe that day. If they were going to depend on that, we have to intervene and do something there to try to make it work for them. Our plan is to make all 3 of those projectors the same. That way, if a case is coming up in district court, we have a problem in that courtroom with that projector. If there's another court that's not busy that day, we could actually move that one over, take that one down for repair, take care of those repairs, and then go back with it. It's just, in the long run, it's just much more sensible. All of these projectors have a lot of hours on them now. They've reached a lot of their life expectancy. And it's just really time. We've had to service several of these multiple times where we actually have to take them down, get them serviced, do things with them, and then try to get them back up in time for courts. And the main thing, we just don't want to hold up the courts. We don't want to hold up juries whenever they have jury coming in and everything like that.
Is that Fund 55, is that right?
Yes, sir.
I can tell you 6 years ago when we built this building, obviously the primary objective was reduce costs, cut costs. And we did so in the finish out of the building. We did so in the AV and the technical part of it. When we bought this equipment, monitors and such, projectors, they were low bid and they were already out of stock. In other words, they were the oldest thing on the shelf that was the cheapest to buy it and get it in here. So I certainly understand that we weren't dealing with quality equipment to start with. Out of Fund 55, I'd make a motion to approve.
I'd second that too, based on this.
It looks like everybody seconded. I believe Steve got in there for, have a motion made by Commissioner Simpson, seconded by Commissioner Berry to approve this. Is any further discussion on this?
It's a two-part deal, though. You're going to do the monitors immediately, the projectors immediately, correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, Commissioner, it would be the projectors would be first so that we can get that demo projector out and get them up and going. And that's really just because when you come in and you have a defendant or a prosecution and everything, the system runs basically where you press one or two buttons and everything's up and going. And so that's what we're trying to get them back to, is where they can use the touch panels the way they're meant to be used. So it is a two-part thing.
So our second part is you're going to make sure that Judge Walton's either in recess or, we have a time frame for maintenance and you and Judge Walton's court, correct?
Absolutely. It has to be that we're going to come up with the working plan to execute this so that it doesn't interfere with any kind of jury trial or any trials that they're having in the district courtroom, and get everyone in and out. And if that, that may have to take place in an evening, holiday, whenever he's in recess for vacation or something like that.
Question.
All right. Any further discussion on this? Because I have a motion and a second. And then all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Thank you, Rob. I want to drop back one I forgot to do something back in the presentation thing. J.C. Campbell has something that he would like to present as a loan to the county. This is the first voting results that was in Hood County, dated December 1866 to 25th, Christmas Day, 1866. And there's got a lot of names on it and stuff. J.C.'s wife's grandfather was on the ballot and unfortunately lost the election. But J.C., you want to hold that up so everybody can see it?
You really have to get close to the writing, the cursive writing. It's all legible, but by now it's quite a few years old, and
I guess so.
It's beginning to disappear. And what I would like to do is the county would like to make sure that this can be saved and assure that it can, because if the sun gets to it, with the acid in the paper and stuff, it starts to deteriorate. And the county, if you're interested in it, I would like to get this thing fixed, and then we can hang it in the courthouse. This is where it belongs. It doesn't belong in a museum. It doesn't belong on my wall because nobody can see it. And I've had it for about 35 years. And so it's come to the point to where we need to get something done. So if the county would like to.
Did you sign it, J.C.?
I was 2 days ago.
J.C. said that this is some stuff that was going to be thrown out many years ago when Judge Meyer was in office, and he saved it, and now he'd like to loan it to the county. What we will do is, I think Mary knows some the document people and recovery, and we'll make sure, and then we'll hang it somewhere out of the light and everything. If that meets with the to accept this on loan from the Campbell, I'll accept a motion to do that.
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Roan, second.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Simpson. Any further discussion?
It doesn't have, if my understanding, if they do this right, it can hang on the wall with light.
Okay, then.
Just preserve it. Now how, I don't know, but that's what it's.
Okay. I think Mary's got, the guy's going to come down pretty quick. She's got some other things for him to do, so we'll see that and then hang it in the courthouse so for everybody to see. All right, well, and then all in favor of that?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The motion carried. Thank you very much, J.C. I apologize for running by you on that earlier. I just... All right, now, next item is item number 5, discuss and take appropriate action regarding the return of the walls display to the veterans. Christy, I believe you've submitted your deal. You want to come back and talk about that for a minute?
Thank you, Judge, Commissioners. Myself and many other members of the Hood County Historical Commission have fielded questions from Hood County residents, lots of the old-timers, want to know when the wall displays honoring the Hood County veterans will be replaced down at the courthouse. I would ask that you expedite this, especially at the rededication of the courthouse. We heard a lot of folks saying, well, that's where it was, hung all my life. So we ask that you guys do this, and we would appreciate it, and we will help in any way, unless I have to take a hammer.
We
don't want me to have a hammer.
We haven't got our check yet from the Historical Commission. Until that happens, it can't be.
You know, and
I understand.
Yeah, I agree with that. There's no pictures or anything on the walls in my office or anything. I started to put up about 15 calendars because Judge Tarrant had them all on his wall. But, you know, that's historical, but I decided against that. But, yeah, so, but that's one of the things. I personally, I know that they were down there, but I think more people see them down here. Everybody comes in. I see people on the jury that come in for jury reading those names, and down there nobody's going to see them. The only people that come in are like people from out of town. I mean, but it's it's kind of, I'm just saying, I think they're more visible here, but I really don't have a
bring it back up after Austin gets out of the.
That's when right now you've still got the Historical Commission in Austin to mess with, and it's not a very good thing. So
they wonder they let us put their own plaque on there, so
their plaque. We can't put anything else on the walls, and no shrubbery, of course. Okay. But I guess they would have let us put hitching rails up.
I want to compliment the commissioners. They were very nice during the rededication. There wasn't any fist fights or anything with the Historic Commission, so it's a pretty good deal.
Wait till we get the check, Judge.
Yeah. You get the check, it's a different story.
Yeah, that's a different story.
See you then.
But okay, well, thank you, Christy. All right, next item is discuss and take appropriate action for the purchase of computer equipment for the newly elected officials.
Judge, we sat down and tried to meet with each of the departments that are going to be stood up as new departments and look at what their needs were, what we have presently and what we do not have, and trying to make some plans and some setup, get everything configured and set up so that they're as much ready to do business at the first of the year as possible. We have several of those offices that are new that just do not have any computer equipment yet assigned to them. So there would be some need for some new systems for those offices to have in place. We're just trying to go down and have a punch list of all the things that we need to do from IT. And so we wanted to kind of go ahead and get a jump start on this part of it and get some authorization from the court to get moving forward with what we're going to see as absolute, definite needs as far as these offices are concerned.
What are you going to need 3 for, like JP 1?
There's 3 there right now at JP 1 and Constable 1 also as well.
How many will Constable 1 need?
It looks like we had there 2. So what we're looking at is 2 PCs, 2 printers, and JP1, we were looking at if they have their cashier station 4 there to be configured, basically it's configured like the other offices are set up.
Do they have 4 and others for the JP?
Most of them have them set up in there where they have that many in the office.
That was 1 printer per office though, not?
That's 1 printer where they can have one that can be a community printer. We always try to set up a departmental printer where it's possible, unless there's some kind of something there where it's like an office that's separated down the hall or something. That's the only time when we change that and have one that's a desktop printer. That's our recommendation to them when we come in there. Judge, what we've looked at in this is it looks like that number from the proposals that we've received from our competitive vendors that we deal with is about $10,000. I spoke with Jen, we sat down and we kind of went over this and we said, look, sometimes those numbers can change and move a little bit, especially if we have to add something on additional for some specific need or if there's something in there. I would ask for the court to approve, somewhere around $12,500 just so that we have a little bit of wiggle room in there in case some of that pricing moves around a little bit during this season.
Are these all desktops?
All of these are desktops.
This is both constables and the JP.
Well, you should only
think
JP
one
constable.
One constable.
For new equipment.
That's right, constable.
Everybody else should be wiped. I mean, I'm looking at this, county attorney, commissioner 1, commissioner 3, constable 3 is just a wiping and cleaning of the equipment.
That's right. We're just clearing, they're just really clearing those. The only things that we really had in Constable 3 was the tough book for the Tahoe. That was in that, and that was in that last package that you had. The only thing that we're doing, we will look at Constable 3, we go in and we just take an audit of the equipment that's there, look at the age of it and just make sure that it's, that it's up to speed and that it's good and clean, that we're ready to go. Sometimes we will do a minor upgrade to that equipment just to give it an extra bit of longevity. We're just trying to squeeze everything we can out of them.
Just telephones as well?
We've included phones and everything. Everything that we have. We've tried to set up a complete list, Commissioner, so that we know everything that they're going to need.
And that's JP and Constable 1 for
JP 1, everyone.
Move to approve.
Up to a certain.
Up to 12,500.
Up to 12,000?
Up to 12,500.
12,500.
Motion made by Commissioner Heatherington. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Simpson to approve the purchase of equipment for JP1 and Constable 1, new computer and printers for their office not to exceed $12,000. Any further?
12,500.
That's cleaning up the others is what I thought.
What's that?
That's cleaning up the others as well. All the everything left to come in is all in
That's everything in there.
But that's your department will do that. It's no additional expense.
In there.
To do the hard drive. Sometimes he takes them out and keeps the hard drive and replaces the hard drive.
There's still cost.
But that's everything.
Okay, all right. We'll add that in there too then.
It's 12,500, Judge.
12,500 is enough.
12,500.
500.
All right. Any further discussion on that? Then all in favor?
Aye.
The motion carried. Thank you very much. It is now 9:40 and we're adjourned.